Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are here doing another reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's nice and sunny out, but it is freezing cold, so we're indoors again.
A reading from Canto 4, Chapter 23, Text 23.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 23. After observing this brave act performed by the chaste wife Archie, the wife of the great King Prithu, many thousands of the wives of the demigods, along with their husbands, offered prayers to the queen, for they were very much satisfied. Text 24. At that time, the demigods were situated on the top of Mandara hill, and all their wives began to shower flowers on the funeral pyre, and began to talk amongst themselves as follows. Text 25. The wives of the demigods said, "All glories to Queen Archie. We can see that this queen of the great King Prithu, the emperor of all the kings of the world, has served her husband with mind, speech, and body exactly as the goddess of fortune serves the supreme personality of Godhead, Yagnesha or Vishnu." In this verse, the words Yagnesham Shri Vadu Eva indicate that Queen Archie served her husband just as the goddess of fortune serves the supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu. We can observe that even in the history of this world, when Lord Krishna, the supreme Vishnu, was ruling over Dwarka, Queen Rukmini, who was the chief of all Krishna's queens, used to serve Lord Krishna personally in spite of having many hundreds of maidservants to assist her. Similarly, the goddess of fortune in the Vaikuntha planets also serves Narayan personally, although there are many thousands of devotees prepared to serve their Lord. This practice is also followed by the wives of the demigods, and in days past the wives of men also followed the same principle. In Vedic civilization, the husband and wife were not separated by such man-made laws as divorce. We should understand the necessity for maintaining family life in human society and should thus abolish this artificial law known as divorce. A husband and wife should live in Krishna consciousness and follow in the footsteps of Lakshmi Narayan or Krishna Rukmini. In this way, peace and harmony can be possible within this world. I think it's interesting because when you read that, I know that I've been in discussions where sometimes it can be fearful within the movement. For example, if it's like, you shouldn't divorce and it's frowned upon, and I mean obviously men as well, but I'm saying particular ladies have felt trapped or not in good situations. Like when you hear that, it can make you fearful, just because of the situation. So I thought it's interesting that after that point, Prabhupada says the husband and wife should live in Krishna consciousness and follow in the footsteps. So he's giving an example of how family life should be, not just do not divorce, dasi, blanket, done, There is a point in how you live which will therefore not necessitate this, breaking up of families. And that is, first of all, to be Krishna conscious. That means both of you, not just a wife should do this, a wife should do that, or you should look after the deities at home, whatever, you should do it, and that's it. No, it says husband and wife should live in Krishna consciousness, but it also says following the footsteps of Lakshmi Narayan and Krishna Rukmini. So it's nice, therefore, obviously, to study and read, okay, well, how did they live? And how did Krishna treat his queens, and so I just thought that was nice to, the word is gone now. I know it's gone, but...
Compliment?
No, so like he's used the point that don't divorce. But anyway, this is what I was going to say, but to back up that point, to
enforce,
just to yeah, you know, this that was nice. It's not just a blanket, which again, from previous readings that we've talked about, in the past, women were forced, unfortunately, to go on the funeral pyre, or in previous, you know, the caste system was abused. So it's like, no, there's a, and when you hear, do not divorce, especially I'm sure in Western society, you know, countries where they might be like, what? You know, I'm not happy, I'm out here, whatever, why do I tolerate that? I'll get another partner or whatever. So it's nice that Prabhupada's saying, yeah, don't do that, but then this is how you should live in order to facilitate don't doing that. Which is on both part people, husband and wife. So that was nice.
Plus, I think the point is that you don't just at the first hint of not being satisfied in some way like bail out, you know, but actually you have to tolerate and go through. But I don't think the idea is that you tolerate circumstances that are basically abusive. You know?
Yes.
I don't think that's the idea. Text 26. The wives of the demigods continued. Just see how this chaste lady, Archie, by dint of her inconceivable pious activities, is still following her husband upward, as far as we can see. Purport. Both Prithu Maharaj's airplane and the airplane carrying Queen Archie were passing out of the vision of the ladies of the higher planetary systems. These ladies were simply astonished to see how Prithu Maharaj and his wife achieved such an exalted position. Although they were the wives of the denizens of the higher planetary systems, and Prithu Maharaj was an inhabitant of an inferior planetary system, the Earth, the king, along with his wife, passed beyond the realms of the demigods and went upward to Vaikuntha Loka. The word urdhvam, upward, is significant here, for the ladies speaking were from the higher planetary systems, which includes the moon, sun, and Venus, up to Brahmaloka, or the highest planet. Beyond Brahmaloka is the spiritual sky, and in that spiritual sky there are innumerable Vaikuntha Lokas. Thus, the word urdhvam indicates that the Vaikuntha planets are beyond or above these material planets, and it was to these Vaikuntha planets that Prithu Maharaj and his wife were going. This also indicates that when Prithu Maharaj and his wife Archie abandoned their material bodies in the material fire, they immediately developed their spiritual bodies and entered into spiritual airplanes, which could penetrate the material elements and reach the spiritual sky. Since they were carried by two separate airplanes, it may be concluded that even after being burned in the funeral pyre, they remained separate, individual persons. In other words, they never lost their identity or became void, as imagined by the impersonalists. Yeah, some things, like just reading in other books at the moment, and Prabhupada just discusses, and the scripture just discusses life on other planets. Like it's just a given, it's understood, higher planetary, higher living entities, higher beings. And here, we hear that, after death, those elevated persons, they were able to see them in their transcendental forms, on these transcendental airplanes, going to the higher planetary systems. So all of this stuff is like, it's quite remarkable when you think about it, and just describing and understanding how things work and just different planetary systems, and that life is on all these planets, and what happens at the time of death, and it's quite remarkable actually. Although for many people it's probably like far-fetched, as they say.
Yeah, but it's interesting for, again, just growing up in Hindu families, you just take it for granted. It's not questioned. If that makes sense. You don't question other planets and other beings, and
don't question means you accept it.
Yeah. It's part of growing up. You hear it all the time, and see, my dad was always going to another planet when he had enough of us. But it's just normal. There's this planet, that one, isn't it? Right, next paragraph. The ladies in the higher planetary systems were capable of seeing both downward and upward. When they looked down, they could see that the body of Prithu Maharaj was being burned and that his wife Archie was entering into the fire. And when they looked upward, they could see how they were being carried in 2 airplanes to the Vaikuntha Lokas. All of this is possible simply by Durvi Bhavyena Kamana, inconceivable activity. Prithu Maharaj was a pure devotee, and his wife Queen Archie simply followed her husband. Thus they can both be considered pure devotees, and thus they are capable of performing inconceivable activities. Such activities are not possible for ordinary men. Indeed, ordinary men cannot even take to the devotional service of the Lord, nor can ordinary women maintain such vows of chastity and follow their husbands in all respects. A woman does not need to attain high qualifications, but if she simply follows in the footsteps of her husband, who must be a devotee, then both husband and wife attain liberation and are promoted to the Vaikuntha Lokas. This is evinced by the inconceivable activities of Maharaj Prithu and his wife. Again, that qualification, you know, because someone might stop at, yeah, see, Prabhupada says a woman doesn't need to have high qualifications because you're all dumb anyway, but she just has to follow in the footsteps of her husband, and then stop there. But then Prabhupada says, you know, the husband who must be a devotee. Like that. And you don't always hear that. I'm not saying I'm surrounded by that mood, but definitely I've heard it. And, you know, being early sort of times in Krishna conscious when I was coming in certain moods and hearing how it was quite prevalent in the old days, definitely, for sure. So it's very interesting that's why I have to read Prabhupada's books, because it's not just a black and white thing, and Prabhupada isn't saying it in one type of view, and he's saying, yeah, the husband has responsibility too. It's got to be a devotee, mainly so you can deliver the wife.
Yeah, also it seems that the way I took that was that you have to follow, the wife has to follow the footsteps of the husband. But that means follow the footsteps of the husband who's a devotee.
Yeah,
not necessarily follow the footsteps of a husband who might not be necessarily be a devotee. You know, so there's that I mean, what you said was slightly different, but yeah.
That's what I meant.
Well, I don't know that that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, all right. All right. So that's it. We finished those verses. So we'll conclude here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please remember to like,
comment,
subscribe.
share.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.